This chapter probably has some of my favorite character moments in the entire series. Mainly from one of the newer additions, being Fu. We always thought Fu was a bit of an idiot, but when I tell you this chapter made him one of the most lovable idiots in the series, that hardly does it any justice. We got a bit more insight as to what's going on with Amo and where she's locked up, and not to mention the mysterious character who has her locked up. Now, I may not be the smartest person in the room, but this silhouette looks oddly familiar. And to finish it off, we got Zodil being an absolute animal. But what was said during that interaction made me really sit back and marvel at the fact that he might be even more intelligent than I gave him credit for. Oh yeah, and we had a moment with Engine and him having his hair down. I'm already knowing that the ladies got my dog as their Twitter headers now. But anyways, it wasn't really much that happened in this chapter, but as usual, you guys know I always find the most in the tiniest bits of information that we get. As you guys know, I'm DomoSenpai, and we have a goal of reaching 100k subs this year. I told y'all this at the beginning of the year, but it's all or nothing for your boy. I just said it on Twitter recently that I would rather go out knowing I gave this my all instead of half-assing this shit. If that means I have to increase the output and start really getting into my production bag to make some things shake, I 1000% am willing to do that. That's why I got into writing these scripts as well. It helps funnel the ideas into a neat package and also spawn multiple others in that same process. So yeah, if y'all are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, man, do yourselves a favor and subscribe. I'm trying to do things that wouldn't normally be possible for someone like me, and your help is needed. So spread the word and let's get this thing started. Fu might be one of the most interesting yet idiotic characters in the series. Not because of just him, but because what I think he's truly being used for. Engine and the crew were having a discussion about how they were going to go about not only getting in contact with Amo, but also getting in touch with the current caretaker as well. And as we stew our brains over how we're gonna find her, in comes Fu ass telling us everything. Everything. Now you may think that he is lying, but if you remember the premise of Canvas Town, nobody with ill intentions can enter thanks to the original spellcaster's masterpiece. So we can assume without a shadow of a doubt that Fu really is here to be Engine's minion, as he's so... I wanted to say eloquently, but that would be too kind for our village idiot, as he blatantly told us in the previous chapters. For me personally though, the most important piece of information was that Jabber never actually took the Watchman boots off of Amo. Amo was already missing before he even got there, which threw me for a loop because if that's the case, who took her? How did they even know that Jabber was going to be there in the first place? Where are they getting this information from? And as I pondered all of these questions, that's when it hit me. Was it the information broker who did this? This also means that the dialogue from chapter 43 that we all thought was from Jabber was not his at all. And according to that line of dialogue, that person also already knew of the angels. Man, look, there is so much information that my brain feels like it's gonna explode, but I will try to compact this information as concise as possible. I had to be a nerd in this situation and do some comparisons, and just off the hair alone, we can really assume that it is indeed the silhouette of the info broker. So what does he gain from this? Is he trying to lure the angels to him? I'm so intrigued with this situation, bro. Like, legitimately, I'm super intrigued. But I can't really cover it all in this chapter, so I will try me best to make another video detailing this situation in itself. Man, I really went from discussing Fu being one of my favorite new characters to going over all the Amo stuff. Legit can't escape ADHD. But anyway, Fu giving us all of this information put us in a great position, which led Engine to the conclusion that we now have to go pay the info broker an actual visit, and Brock wasn't too keen on that idea. Apparently, he's a pain in the ass to deal with, and if my presumption is correct, and that's where Amo is, Rudo is going to have to give up something really important to get her. I have some theories as to what's going to happen when we visit the info broker, but I will be saving that for the next chapter review. Maybe. This led to a visual of Zodil eating a raven. Same ravens we saw in Canvas Town, by the way. Just munching on them, and Kutoni saying there will be contact with the information broker. How does she know? Well, y'all remember when I brought up the fact that the doll that Fu got isn't really his alter ego, but somebody telling him what to do with it? Well, not his alter ego, but his Jinky. Yeah, that's more than likely how they're getting that info, because there were no crows around them and they still found out. This also adds to the Fu is an idiot narrative, because he just says everything without thinking. Now, I kind of want to shift into Zodil real quick before we move to Amo, because while I gave him his credit for masterminding the whole border situation, manipulating Rudo's emotions enough to lead him by the nose to test his theories, and several other things that I failed to mention, I think this entire Fu situation was intentional. Knowing his personality, it would make it easy to manipulate him into believing that he was not kicked out of the Raiders, but left of his own volition. And how is he doing that? The doll. There has to be someone amongst the Raiders who created this doll to communicate with Fu and manipulate this poor soul into doing whatever he bids. There was a lot of implications of this, one of them being something along the lines of, you can never do anything without me. Since all of the Raiders have ill intentions, none of them would be able to step foot into Canvas Town. So, being aware of all of this, who better to send into the situation than Fu himself? Zodil is so much more of a mastermind than I give him credit for, man, and I just wanted to highlight the situation in particular because it wouldn't be fair to not give him the credit. Since I pretty much already gave my thoughts on Amo and whatnot, let me go over what was being said during that whole interaction. One, Amo's personality is still as twisted as it was when we left her. She tried everything she could to get released from her shackles. One of the lines that caught me was, "You wanted Amo's shoes, so you don't need Amo." Which means that this person was also looking for them as well, but if that was the case, then why didn't they take them along with her? Very peculiar situation, indeed. And then the faded tear and wishing for Rudo to come save her, which we all know that is coming, whether you like it or not. Me personally, hell yeah! I say this every time, bro. But I think she would be an integral part to the team. And the more I look at the team that is assembling here, the more I think that what we saw in the Ancestry chapter of Makaka Iko and his friends is starting to shape up nicely. I also have a theory video in the works about that as well. But that pretty much does it for chapter 89 of Gachiakuta. Make sure y'all let YouTube and the algorithm know that my videos don't suck by leaving a like, a comment, or even subscribing. 100K is the goal, man. Don't forget that. We have a lot of other things in the works, and the more I get comfortable with writing scripts and whatnot, the higher my production rate's gonna be. Consider donating to the DomoSenpai fund below. These donations not only help keep food on the table, but it also helps me pay for various things like editing software and putting money towards new equipment. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. I'm DomoSenpai, and I will catch you guys in the next one.